What is Blackwork Embroidery? A member of the Society for Creative Anachronism, Lord Gregor Bacardus, once described blackwork embroidery as a stark beauty of black running along an edge or overwhelming a field of white. Blackwork has sometimes been called Spanish work, and the conception of blackwork is often erroneously attributed to that celebrated 16th century Spanish lady, Catherine of Aragon. The technique of blackwork embroidery became extremely popular in England when it was displayed by King Henry VIII's first wife. Catherine had brought this technique with her to England from her native country, Spain. In Spain, Catherine was born to the new Spanish monarchs Isabella and Ferdinand. Before their reign, the Moors had ruled much of the Spanish territory. Even after being evicted from Spain, many of the Moorish geometrical designs had been left behind. Having grown up learning the geometric embroidery, she continued her embroidery when she was sent to England to marry Henry VIII's older brother Arthur. After Arthur's death, Catherine then married Henry. The theory that the vogue came into England with Catherine of Aragon is no longer tenable, for references to such black embroidery occur at a much earlier date, however. In the late 15th century, in the Canterbury Tales, for example, Geoffrey Chaucer commented on the clothing of the miller's wife, Alison. Of white, too, was the dainty smock she wore, embroidered at the collar, all about with coal-black silk, alike within and without. It is the embroidery in black silk on white linen which became fashionable during the reign of Henry VIII, and it died out sometime between 1600 and 1630. When Catherine of Aragon brought this fashionable embroidery technique to England, it was referred to as Spanish work. It was dubbed this name, though it had shown origins with Moorish design elements. After King Henry VIII divorced Catherine, the embroidery was renamed blackwork. By the time King Henry VIII's second daughter, Elizabeth I, came into reign, blackwork embroidery was popular among both nobility and monarchs. Shirts were the most common to have blackwork as decoration, especially on the cuffs and around the neck. As blackwork embroidery patterns resemble lace, which was difficult to obtain in Tudor days because of the tax on lace, collars and cuffs of blackwork embroidery soon appeared on the courtiers' clothing. There are many portraits from the Elizabethan time era of nobility wearing blackwork on the sleeves and cuffs of their shirts and chemises. By 1530, a man's shirt had a high neck, which had resulted in the origin of the ruff. Blackwork was used to decorate this ruff. In the National Portrait Gallery, there is a portrait of Henry VIII wearing a shirt embroidered with acorns in golden leaves and black. Apart from ruffs, blackwork was highly fashionable on falling bands, hand ruffs, handkerchiefs, nightcaps, and nightshirts. Blackwork embroidery was also popular in other countries besides England, such as France. Louis XI and Charles VIII of France were both very interested in embroidery and summoned Italian embroiderers to court, so early French work was much influenced by Italy. Blackwork had already made its appearance in French and German portraits at the beginning of the 16th century, proving that it was already a general European fashion. Blackwork, if it was used in Scotland, has not survived except in portraits such as that of Agnes Keith and her husband, the Regent Moray, painted by Hans Eworth in 1561. Found among the garments left behind by Mary Queen of Scots were 4 English chemises with blackwork designs. In other historical findings, the blackwork design occurs on a fragment from a burial ground in Egypt of the late medieval period and is depicted by Holbein the Elder in his paintings. Spain and Italy set up the way by using Islamic design, as well as absorbing design ideas from Egypt. Types of counted thread embroidery in black on white are found in many countries, especially the Slavic countries of Eastern Europe, Russia, Romania, Czechoslovakia, Bulgaria, and Yugoslavia, where it has been a peasant industry for centuries. Blackwork could have been found on almost any type of fabric, including silk, linen, satin, velvet, and netting. Wool may have been used for threading, but black silk was definitely the most favored. Once in a while, gold and silver threads may have been used to demonstrate visual drama. Other colors of threads were used too, but black silk on a white background was the most popular. Fine black silk embroidery on white linen with intricate geometrical designs worked in a double running stitch. In addition, pearls and beads may have been used sporadically. It has been suggested that the lavish use of black thread embroidery was occasioned by the influence of the newly established printing press. Many of the embroidery designs were close copies of those which were inspired by engravings and woodcuts. The technique used to create blackwork is quite simple. It's known as backstitch or festoon stitch, which are lines joined with links of chains that form together to create an endless picture. By counting the threads, the double running stitch is a series of 2 journeys. On the first journey, the pattern is to work every other stitch. Then on the return journey, fill in the blank spots to create one continuous line. In blackwork, the spaces are filled with delicately etched geometrical designs. This double running stitch has also sometimes been referred to as Holbein stitch. There are many different designs used with the blackwork technique. During Elizabeth I's reign, many floral designs had been used. William Shakespeare even described some of these decorations in his works. For example, in Pericles, Act 5, Shakespeare wrote, "With her needle composes nature's own shape of bud, bird, branch, or berry, that even her art sisters the natural roses. Her inkle, silk twin with the ruby cherry, that pupils lack she none of noble race, who pour their bounty on her." Graph paper is usually helpful when graphing a blackwork design. Stitches can be horizontal, vertical, or diagonal to create a geometrical effect. The ending result should be reversible and look the same from both the front and the back sides. Even weave fabric is the easiest and most favorable to do embroidery on. It is also recommended that only a single thread be used, but 2 threads can also be used for dramatic effect. Here are some examples of blackwork embroidery that I've done. This is the collar on a partlet. Here is the front, and here is the back side. As you can see, the back side resembles very closely to the front side. Here are cuffs that I made on a shirt for my son, and the back side very much resembles the front side. Here is a sampler that I made. This sampler is both also reversible, and these designs came from a 16th century sampler. And here is a coif, another partlet, another coif, and in the back is a pillow.